Hope y'all enjoy the video. Hello friends, it's Global Patriot JohnAdams back again. 2017, baby. Yeah, we're getting it done and we're having fun doing it. So here we are, we're going to be talking about the Bitcoin price. Bitcoin, like I said a few weeks ago, seemed to be going up. There was a great event which coincided with the price going up where Spain actually had restricted their cash transactions. So we're going to look into those charts right now and the different news surrounding Bitcoin, as it looks like we are heading into another price spike at the beginning of 2016. It is January 6th on a Friday around 1 o'clock p.m. So East Coast here, Richmond, Virginia. Me and Teddy hanging out. So we're gonna look into the charts. Alright, just looking at the charts. Also been checking out the Webbot summary. You also can check that out over at Jason Ford's channel by Cliff High. It's pretty interesting. Possible predictions have been made by a linguistic machine that analyzes all the different news that comes across the internet. But that does slightly apply to Bitcoin. They did predict some things about Bitcoin. I'm not sure if they were entirely right. Some of the things they have said are right, but many things, they seem to be right about the event, but not the date. So it can't be used to make that much money. Also, anything that they say could also then be, identified by the elite, and then they could reverse whatever they just said could happen. But that may not always be the case. The elite may not always be able to change what they say. Here we are looking at the Bitcoin price. This is the past 5 to 6 years since Bitcoin was created. As you can see there, it looks like July 18th, 2010. That's when they started this CoinDesk. CoinDesk.com started collecting their data for Bitcoin. And we see that there was a peak in 2013, which I predicted this peak correctly. And it peaked up to $979. I told people to buy in at $150, right around somewhere. You can't even identify it exactly. It was maybe right there, a little bit over that. So, sorry about that. Let me turn this phone on. So, it looks like we're having a bull pattern, and are we going to break through this bull pattern? That's the main question. It is January 6th, Friday, so a lot can happen. I'm looking at I can only get to January 2nd there. You can see that January 2nd we peaked out at $1,019. If we look at the 1 year chart, we have recognized some type of peak, but it's very short. That's January 4th, 2017. We reached $1,130 basically. Then it went down almost 20%. It went down about 20-some%, and that's very significant. But it does not mean that this run is over. I do not believe that means that this run's over. It's going to be on the events. This could be the peak that just occurred off of the Spanish, or all of Spain just had capital controls instituted. So that event may have kind of dried up itself in the market there. You see it. So that could be the peak of that. Though, if another country does anything similar, which is very possible to happen since it happened somewhere else, then we could see incredible gains. So be prepared. Watch the news on Bitcoin. If you see lots of countries instituting capital controls, any American countries instituting capital controls, then the price of Bitcoin could definitely go up, and you may want to invest in that. Be careful. Obviously, right now we could be at a peak. So I told you to buy here. Where was it? Before this big peak right here. So I told you to buy before that. So now I'm not necessarily telling you to buy right this minute. I'm telling you to watch the news on Bitcoin. If you see that 3 countries institute capital controls, and then right once you hear that, you probably should start buying Bitcoin, and then should be planning to sell it relatively quickly. So Bitcoin's volatile. Be careful. It's moving quick. You don't want to put money that you don't have to spare into it. They do have the other OKCoin, different exchanges we can check out, see what that looks like. So they're basically the same, especially in the 1 year. In the long term, they eventually look the same, which is interesting. We're probably going to actually start to see, let me go back to all. I've noticed that during the peaks, anytime during the peaks, you actually start to see the market exchanges, the Bitcoin market exchanges, will shut down and essentially rob some users, because what happens is you're not supposed to leave your Bitcoins into a Bitcoin exchange. You're supposed to take your Bitcoins out of the exchange and only leave them in the exchange basically for the time being as you're exchanging your money. So you buy the Bitcoins, you send them cash, via a bank transfer or something, and then you send that to the exchange. They give you Bitcoins. Then instead of leaving your Bitcoins in the exchange, which some people do, you send them into your own personal wallet. So to avoid having your Bitcoins robbed at the top of the peak, you're going to want to move your Bitcoins into your own personal wallet and have it all locked up like you're supposed to and everything like that. So it's important for me to mention that. And also, it's important to mention that we have essentially broken the resistance. We're past the level where we were before. So Bitcoin's at a new high in 2017, very early on. We are seeing very, very strange things going on all across America. Yeah, well, basically, just lately on the mainstream media, I've been noticing that it seems that essentially the intelligence community seems to be going after Trump himself. They may be threatening him. They're saying that he is ignoring the Russian hacking and all types of things like this, and that he's not going to be able to, protect the country. That's kind of scary. Could there be a false flag? I'm not sure, though it's possible. So Donald Trump, he seems to be getting all these intelligence briefings on Russian hacking. Nothing that there's wrong with intelligence briefing, but this whole Russian hacking thing seems to be kind of made up, and this seems to be being pushed by the mainstream media news. NPR, ABC right there, USA Today, BBC. You see what I'm saying there? Okay, so there's a lot of strange things going on in America. Trump is essentially a new political group is taking over the country. So basically there's a big change of life happening in America. We are losing basically the fat off the hog that we used to have. There's not going to be hardly any of that left. People are going to be having to work very hard just to survive, possibly on farms and other methods, or they may have to even work in their own backyards and just combine backyards and create community gardens. But I mean, really, food is the one thing that is really shipped in heavily. It's dependent on our whole entire country is dependent on it from California. It's totally dependent on the on-time delivery system, the credit system, and all that. So there could easily be some type of issue that happens with the credit system and could stop food. That's why it's important to have a small supply, at least a few months. If everyone had a few months, I think we all could make it. Plus, you're going to want to be able to grow your own food. Eventually, businesses are going to pop up and food's going to become more valuable and more people are going to start growing food. So it's not going to be, that big of a issue for the long run, but if you have nothing in your cabinets, then it's going to be a very big issue for you if you go to the stores and you see absolutely nothing there, which we've all seen the pictures that happens immediately after any hurricane or anything like that. So we know it can happen. There's actually only a day's supply of stock on any of the shelves at any stores. I've worked at a large food retail giant, and we would overturn their entire stock every day, just about. So they're moving it through quickly. There's nothing stocked up. It comes in and then it's sold and it's gone. So if it's ever stopped, that wouldn't be good. So be prepared. False flags are possible. The intelligence community seems to be concerned about Trump, how he's just basically taken over. He's essentially taken over America in the correct form via voting, because the mainstream media was trying to make it look like Hillary had all the types of voters and everyone showing up, even though she had 10 times less rallies and 10 times or 100 times less people at each rallies. Donald Trump was filling entire stadiums full of basketball stadiums, football stadiums, and stuff like that. He was filling those to the brim, while Hillary was barely filling little auditoriums of middle schools and stuff like that. So that's the competition we're having here. Donald Trump just slayed Hillary very well, and the establishment is completely upset. They're all still stuck in power, so they may be basically creating a wall to block Trump. They want everything that Obama did, basically. Obama racked our countries up as far as he could with debt, and has somewhat messed up with our different alliances and stuff like that. So we're in a very strange time here in America. The future is quite unpredictable. I would just suggest getting a job, working hard, trying to stock up some cash. I believe it is actually good to have a small amount of cash. It is good to have a decent amount of silver and gold and everything like that. So be prepared. I don't know what's coming up. We're going to find out. We're going to keep paying attention, y'all. Subscribe, like, share. This is Global Patriot John Adams here with Teddy. We are signing off. That's right, Teddy. Goodbye.